In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your rear engine mount. I'm going to take these two 14mm bolts out. That's going to allow me to remove this whole strut brace here, which actually is part of the top engine mount. I'm going to take these two off on both sides, passenger and driver's, and then I'm going to unbolt it from the engine mount, which I'll show you in a second. 15mm socket on the bolt side. Hold the nut on an 18 wrench. Take this out. Now you can lift up on this whole thing. Take it right out of here. Now with this brace off for the top engine mount, if you look right back here between this engine mount and the master cylinder for the brakes, straight down, you'll see the top nut for this motor mount. That's a 15mm and we'll have to remove it. I won't be able to show you this at the same time because as soon as I put my tool in there, can't see anything anymore. So I have this long extension and I'm going to sneak down, and once it grabs onto the mounting nut, I'm going to go ahead and loosen it up. There it is. And now let's raise up the vehicle and make our way underneath. Next we need to take this shield down. So I'm just going to go around, and my bolts are 12mm. Yours might be different. So it looks like someone replaced these. That's why mine might be different. So just go around, take off everything that holds on this shield. And now from underneath with the shield down, if you look right in between the subframe and the sway bar, you'll notice that bolt right there. It's actually bolted onto the steering rack, and that is the lower bolt for the engine mount. I'm going to try and fit a 3/8 drive extension in here. On top of it, I'm going to put a socket, obviously. I was able to fit a 3/8 drive extension in there with a socket. Let's remove the bolt. It's a 15mm. Now I'm going to use a pull jack with a rubber pad in between. I don't want it pressed directly on the aluminum casing, even if it was steel. Regardless, I wouldn't want to press directly on it. So I put a rubber pad in between for cushion, and I'm going to lift up the engine until the engine mount separates and I can safely remove it. I'm going to try and create some vibration and hopefully break this thing free. Use a punch and a hammer. Back at the top, I decided to put the nut back on, and I just used a floor jack to jack up the engine exactly like I showed you before. Nothing is different there. And I'm going to use this long extension that reaches down there, clears the turbo setup there. I don't want to hammer anything on there. And I'm going to use my air hammer with this bit on it that'll drive all of the vibrations down to that nut and hopefully push the engine mount down and out. So let's give this a shot. Okay, see how the nut looks like it's glued up against that bracket? Well, I think that means it worked. So let's go back underneath and see what happened. Back underneath, let's jack up the engine once again. There it goes. There it is. We can separate this shield. Leave that there. That'll make the diameter of it smaller, and it can fit right in between the transfer case and the transmission. There it is. And this is what was getting us hung up. There's this dowel pin right here. And on the new one, it's a slightly better design because it's still there, but it's a lot narrower and it's flat, so there's less of a chance of it seizing up. Take the new engine mount, bring it up in here. And put this shield on. Slide it up and through the hole in the bracket. There we go. And now I'm going to drop the engine down very carefully because my hand is still up there. I'm holding it in position so it can seat itself correctly on both sides. Okay, I'm looking down here. Mounting hole lines up. Let's get the bolt in here. Let's bring this shield back up and re-secure it. Back up top, I'm going to use a magnet and feed the nut down there, try to get it hooked onto the threads, and then I'll use my long extension and thread it on. Make sure it's nice and snug. There's no way I can torque it accurately with this long of an extension, so just do your best, tighten it up, top and bottom, and you should be all set. Now it's time to put this brace back. Slide it backwards over this engine mount, line it up on both sides with the mounting bolts or the mounting holes. Slide the bolts through, but don't tighten them yet. I want to tighten this engine mount first because that's the center point. These on both sides have an adjustment, so it can adjust as needed. So I will start both of these bolts in on both sides. Before I tighten them down, I'm going to slide this in. Center it up and let's tighten it. Hold the nut, tighten the bolt. And now you can tighten the two 14 millimeters on each end.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.